Have you ever felt that subtle pressure to be in a relationship? You know that feeling that being single is just a stopover on the way to your real life? Well, today we're going to challenge that whole idea. We're diving deep into the psychology of choosing to be single, using insights from the work Solitary Minds to look at a path that's way less about waiting and a whole lot more about intentionally thriving.
So let's just get right to the heart of it with the one question that really frames this entire explainer. Is being single a problem we're all supposed to solve? Or is it a conscious, fulfilling path you can actually choose? I mean, it sounds simple, right? But just think about it for a second. This one question really pushes back against a powerful story we've all been told about what a happy life is supposed to look like.
I mean, how many of us have heard this one? Or, hey, maybe we've even said it ourselves with the absolute best intentions. It's supposed to be comforting, but let's just pause and look at what it's really saying. It implies that being single is just a temporary layover, right? A waiting room for your real life to finally begin. It paints singlehood as this problem, a state you desperately need to escape from to be happy.
Okay, so here's our game plan to get to the bottom of this. First up, we're going to deconstruct this single stereotype. Then, we'll dive into the psychology of making it an active choice. After that, we'll uncover the surprising benefits of solitude, learn what it really takes to thrive on your own, and finally, we'll wrap it all up to completely rethink what it even means to be single.
All right, first section. Let's get right into it. We're starting with that powerful, often unspoken script that society writes for us. You know, the one that tells us what a successful life and true happiness are supposed to look like.
Let's just call this the societal script. And it's a really familiar story, isn't it? There's this one single, straight road to happiness. You date, you find the one, get married, and then your successful life begins. This is basically presented as the default setting for being an adult, but here's the key thing. It's a cultural default, not a psychological one. And by focusing so hard on this one path, we totally ignore this vast, rich landscape of other ways to live a truly fulfilled life.
So, if that's the old script, how do we start writing a new one? Well, this is where psychology gives us a really powerful tool to just reframe the entire conversation. We're about to shift our whole perspective from seeing singlehood as something that just happens to people, to seeing it as a path that people can actively and intentionally choose.
And that brings us to this core idea from Solitary Minds, intentional singleness. And this is a total game changer. It's not about being unpartnered or in between relationships. No, it's an active, deliberate choice you make to prioritize your own personal growth, your emotional health, your well-being. It's all about claiming being single as a complete and valid identity, not just some temporary status.
And the why behind this choice. It's so fascinating. As you can see here, these aren't just excuses for being single. These are powerful, positive reasons. For some people, it's about pouring all their energy into self-discovery or their community. For others, it's about valuing their own independence so much that they just refuse to make bad compromises. And for a lot of people, it's about having a personal mission, a career, a creative passion that demands their full focus.
Okay, now we're getting to a really crucial distinction, because we need to dismantle the biggest myth of all, this idea that being alone is the exact same thing as being lonely. It's not. They are two totally different psychological experiences, and getting that difference is key to everything.
This slide lays it out perfectly. Loneliness, that's that painful, passive feeling of wanting connection but not having it. But solitude, that's an active, positive choice. It's you intentionally choosing to be with yourself to find peace, freedom, and clarity. It completely transforms alone time from something to be afraid of into a powerful resource for your well-being. And hey, this isn't just a nice idea. It has real, measurable benefits. Choosing solitude isn't just empty time. It's incredibly productive for our minds. I mean, look at this data. We're talking about a significant boost in creativity, getting better at regulating your emotions, having sharper focus, and a way deeper sense of self-awareness. These are not just small perks. They are the absolute foundational pillars of strong mental health.
Okay, so we've got the theory down. We understand the psychology behind it. But what does this actually look like in practice? Let's get into the actionable steps for building a rich, thriving solo life. Because here's the key takeaway. It doesn't just happen by accident. It's something you have to intentionally build.
So the framework for this really rests on four main pillars. First, you don't just have friends, you curate your community, building a diverse social portfolio. Second, you master your domain, taking full ownership of everything from your finances to your home. Third, you don't just have hobbies, you actively pursue your passions. And fourth, you don't just happen to be alone. You practice intentional solitude, actually scheduling that time to recharge and connect with yourself. It's about building a life with the same care and intention that people put into building a partnership.
So let's bring it all home now. How do all these pieces, the psychology, the power of solitude, and these practical pillars, how did they combine to create a completely new and honestly a far more empowering way to think about being single?
So the crucial point is this. We need to shift our thinking completely. Singlehood is not a waiting room for a relationship to begin. It's not a problem that needs to be solved or a phase you just have to get through. It is a complete, valid, and psychologically rich way of living life, full stop.
And I just want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. Our culture is obsessed with finding the right person. But what if the most profound, the most fulfilling, and the most important relationship we could ever possibly have is the one we build with ourselves?